Hello and welcome to the Watch Kaki channel, where we bring you all the good and honest watch reviews. I'd like to take the time to remind you, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, because I've got new videos uploaded every week just for you. In today's video, we're going to do a full review of the Seiko L.E here in the studio, and this is the SRPG471K1. It is part of the 140th anniversary collection. So in this collection launch earlier this year, I believe they will launch sometime in mid-year. Alright, there were 4 watches in the collection, so a slight correction from my unboxing video. So I said in that video that there were 3 models, and in fact there are 4 models. Alright, so this one here belongs to the lowest end, and it is from the Seiko 5 collection. So other models in the series include this Astron model, and I think there is also the Presage. Alright, a slightly higher end Presage, and then there was the 63 Mars, and all the 4 watches, alright, they have the same color scheme, alright, so which is the the blue and white color scheme, and they look very good. And I was told by Eric of the Our Boutique, alright, that this one here is a very hot selling model. Okay, so of course partly due to the affordability of the watch. So this watch here is on loan from Our Boutique, and I really gotta thank these guys for generously loaning me their watches for my video reviews. So there are no official words from Seiko about how limited these watches are. So I don't find any information on how many pieces were actually made, but one of the readers or viewers from my channel said that this one here, they're gonna make more than 10,000 copies. Okay, so they built like 11,000 watches. So I don't understand how limited that would be. Alright, so I find it strange that a company would call a model or something limited when you've got more than 10,000. So not too sure if that's really the truth, alright, or the actual figure, but I do feel that if you're making more than 6,000 pieces, it shouldn't be called limited edition at all. So I'll just zoom in the lens a little bit as I start to talk to you about the overall specs and case dimensions and whatnot. So this one here is the exact same watch as a 5KX, alright. So the 5KX, they've got a gazillion color combinations. They've got green, gold, black, orange, whatever color you like, and different types of bracelet configuration and all that. So this one here, I would say, is a bone stock 5KX with a bracelet. Okay, so in terms of construction, design and all that, no difference. Alright, it's exactly the same watch. There are no special case back inscriptions or special logos or emblems or anything like that on this watch. So case size is a very standard 42.5 millimeters, just like 5KX. Thickness is about 13.6. Okay, so that's a pretty thick watch, alright. And we've got a lug width of 22 millimeters, making this one more or less a strap monster. And the L to L here is very manageable, comes in at about 46 millimeters. So I guess this is one of the plus points of the SKX or the 5KX, alright. A relatively short L to L in comparison to the overall case dimension. So I think in that sense, it has become really popular. And some other dimensions not mentioned on Seiko's official website. So it's got a bezel of 41.4 millimeters. Crystal size is about 31.5, and lastly we've got a crown here, which is actually pretty big for a case like this. This one here measures in at about 6.8 millimeters, but it is a non-screw down crown. So this watch here is also powered by Seiko's workhorse 4R36. So hex and hand winds, same movement as the Seiko Turtle, same movement as with all the micro brands, the lower entry level micro brands. And I would say this movement, no problems at all, easy to maintain. If it breaks down, you do a new movement transplant, and I think everything will be good. At the time of this review, the SRPG471K1 can be purchased from Our Boutique for street price of about $380. Okay, so if you're on good terms with Eric, like me, we're on good terms, right? So I don't know, maybe you get a special price, okay? Don't quote me on that, alright? Don't tell Eric that Watch Kaki Andy sent you, alright? Just be nice, smile to him, maybe you get a better price. So this next segment here on the case design and the build quality, I think, again, nothing much to be said because it is, you know, a dead stock 5KX, alright? Everything is the same case, the same polishing, the same bezel finish is the same, bracelet is the same, clasp is the same, alright? I think it's a non-solid clasp, okay? Also a non-solid end link, but really doesn't matter, alright? So in terms of construction feel and all that, it's not a big deal, right? Non-solid bracelets for such entry-level watches, I don't think it's a big deal, alright? So there is a feeling that the overall quality, it is lower than a Pro Specs watch, okay? So let me just bring in my samurai here, alright? So both these watches, they've got something in common. They've got a really nice textured waffle dial, alright? So if you like waffles like me, I think you will really like waffle dials. Okay, so I do feel that the build quality for the 5KX, they are slightly lower, namely the finish, alright, the brushing and all that. I still feel that the Pro Specs, they have better finishing. Of course, they've got nicer bracelets, screw-in crowns, screw-down crowns, and overall I think better clasp with the diverse extension and all that. So I would say in terms of build quality, it's still slightly lower than Pro Specs, but it's not too bad. You know, the 5KX, you know, they've come a long way, alright? So I think build quality is pretty decent for the price that you're. So on the example that I'm holding in my hand now, I think the bezel action is actually quite good, alright? I will feel that it's a slightly upgraded bezel action. Feels really good, very solid, not as flimsy as other watches I've held, other Seikos that is. And of course, this one here not being an ISO rated diver, there is no lume pip here, so here is just a triangle, no applied lume pip or anything like that. But I do like this bit of texturing here on the bezel. So it's not a plain Jane aluminum insert, so it's got really nice, I think it's concentric texturing, and also the markers here, they are engraved, okay, not printed on, alright, they're engraved, lots of 3D feel going on. And now let's move on to the dial design, and I talk to you about the overall color scheme and all that, alright? So, you know, of course we got to talk about the beautiful blue and white color scheme going on, alright? Very popular color scheme now. Brands like Omega, Breitling and all that, they, you know, they're rolling out watches with such a color scheme, alright? So really lovely texturing going on the dial. So I call this one the waffle dial, but I think the actual name would be tapestry or something like that. So I really need to find out how to pronounce this word properly. Tapestry. Alright, so if you know how to pronounce it, please you know, assist me along in the comment sections below. And these little blue accents going on in the hands, the border of the hands, and you know, all along the second hand, right? So I must tell you, these touches, you know, they really make the watch look so good, right? So let me just do a bit of a light play here. So as I turn, you can see how the blue intensifies, all right, into a bright blue. Okay, it's as though it's become like electrified. It's really cool here, the blue accents going on. So I think this could be the one reason for you to look at this LE version here. Okay, so the other parts of the watch, not so much. Okay, very standard stock 5KX, but you look at the beautiful blue accents going on. Okay, I think it could be one good reason for you to consider this watch. So coming back to the dial, okay, so I'm here to admit that I've made a really big mistake on this dial here. So it is not a white dial. Okay, so in the unboxing or earlier part of this video, you know, I've used the color white to describe the dial. It is not white. Okay, it is actually silver. So I think to my old eyes or my poor quality studio lights, I think they look white. Okay, but I assure you it is not white. It is in fact silver, but you know, at first glance it comes across as white, but I gotta tell you this, alright, the entire selling point of this watch, it has to be built upon this dial here. Alright, looks really good, looks much more expensive than the price would suggest. Okay, really nice applied markers, or at least they look like they are applied. Really nice chapter ring here that matches the overall dial color. Alright, so I really like the day date as well. Okay, so you've got a white day date and it doesn't stand out too much from the silver dial. So overall, again, I gotta remind you, the entire color scheme and the dial here could be the one reason you want to look at this watch. So I've just charged up the Lume with my UV torch. As you can see, the Lume plots here are turning green. Alright, so so I'm going to switch off the lights now and let's take a look at how the Lume works. So boom, Seiko Lume. Alright, so I would say it's no issues at all. Alright, so in terms of Lume brightness, Seiko always, wins. Alright, so no contest, no doubts about it. So back to the studio, here's a fake wrist shot of the watch. Bracelet is obviously not sized. This is a brand new watch. I'm not going to resize or remove any of the tapes here. So this watch here, as with all the 5KX watches, they are very easy to wear, very manageable. I do find the 5KX watches to be a little bit thick, okay, at about 13.5, 13.6 millimeters, and it's a bit of a top heaviness going on. So overall, it's not a problem. If you like watches slightly bigger than the usual 40 millimeters, I think you'll probably like this one too. And we're going to put the 47 next to the Samurai for a case size comparison. So again, at first look, you would know immediately that it is not a very big watch. Okay, so obviously it's not a dress watch, alright, it's a watch that's rather big, but it is not a gigantic watch. Okay, so 47.5 case size, and thickness is actually about the same, but this one here does feel a little bit thicker due to the fact that it's got a slightly more protruding case bag. So all in all, I would say this one here, the SRPG471K1, it is a really good looking watch. I would say it's one of the best looking watch among the entire 5KX watches. Okay, so they've got a ton of different color schemes, and I think this could be one of the best. Alright, but in terms of a limited edition, okay, I don't think it is exactly a worthy contender, because you can buy 5KX all year round for about $250, $250, alright, Singapore dollars. But this one here, you do have to pay a slight upcharge for it. It's about $380. So if you really like the color scheme, the color combination, the dial and all that, of course, there's a little bit of upcharge. I think it's not a problem at all. But in terms of buying it for collecting as an LE and all that, I think not so much. And this is the Watch Kaki signing off with George. Alright, see you next week. Bye bye.